I mean, the premise alone is priceless. The guy has the powers and strength of a spider.
Alright, welcome back to Did They Game It? I'm your host Michael, and today I'll be reviewing The Amazing Spider-Man 2, the movie, and the game on the PlayStation 4. I guess I'll start off with the movie. The word I would use to describe this movie is unfortunate, because there was a lot of talented actors in this, and there was some quality acting in it. There's a lot of silver linings in this movie, but overall, just unfortunate what happened with it. The movie has Andrew Garfield, who does a great job as Peter Parker Spider-Man, in my opinion. Emma Stone is Gwen Stacy. Jamie Foxx is Electro. Paul Giamatti is the Rhino for some reason. And Sally Field is Aunt May. You might know her best as the villain from Mrs. Doubtfire. I don't care what anybody says, she was the villain of that film. Yeah, it's just a lot of bloat too in this movie. A lot of subplots that weren't needed. Big problem with that. Like Peter's parents were a big part of this, that he was trying to solve the mystery of what happened to them. And they were scientists who were killed by Oscorp. It was so unnecessary. And a big part of the film, the runtime's like 2 hours and 20 minutes. And I'd say you could cut out 20 minutes just from him trying to solve the mystery of his parents. And I don't like Peter's parents even from the comics. Those storylines I just never cared for. Like I remember they were spies for Shield, and then when I was reading The Amazing Spider-Man when I was a kid, I remember them coming back for some reason, and they end up being robots. And then if I remember correctly, the mom robot sacrifices herself to save Peter because she starts getting genuine feelings of love for her son. I don't know. It was weird. It was just an unnecessary thing, as in this movie. I didn't need it, didn't want it, wasted 20 minutes. But even cutting out the time and making it a tighter film wouldn't save it. I think this thing was fucked from Jump Street. It's just a lot of choices that didn't make sense and were weird. The main one would be Jamie Foxx as Electro. Nothing wrong with Jamie Foxx, the actor. Like when I heard about this coming out, which was like 12 years ago now, which is weird because it doesn't seem like that long ago that I saw it in the theaters, but whatever. I thought, cool, good actor. He'd probably make a good villain. But then they made him a scientist that is a loner and isolated and gets this weird obsession with Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man saves him and then he keeps imagining him and Spider-Man are buddies.
Oh, well, look who's here. Spidey. How was your morning? Aces, Max. Aces. I've been out saving the world and protecting everybody. But is someone celebrating a birthday today? That's why you're here. You remember my birthday. All the crime fighting you've been doing, and all of a sudden you take time out to come visit little old me, Max. It's amazing to... But of course you would. Why wouldn't you visit me? We're best friends.
And he's just, they made Jamie Foxx act in a way where it's like, I don't think he could have won that. Like, I don't think there's any way he could have done a good job with what they wanted.
What are you doing? You made me a cake? People don't get a chance to see these small, kind things that you do for people. I know what they say about you in the press, but it doesn't matter to me because I know the real you, because you're amazing. Wow. That's what the press needs. They should call you the Amazing Spider-Man. You like that, Spidey? I like it a lot, Max. Good. Because today is going to be amazing.
Because he's just a caricature nerd. Like, it would be like a nerd character on The Simpsons or something like that. Like, the way his hair is swooped over, the glasses, his teeth, the way he speaks and walks. It's just over the top. And then when he becomes Electro, it's just a weird choice. I understand why they didn't use his comic costume because it'd be a little silly, but you could still, have him dress in clothes that are kind of like a costume or have the same color of Electro's original costume. But after he gets into the accident at work that gives him his powers, which is he falls into a pool of eels. And yeah, he gets his power. He's trying to fix something electrical, falls into a pool of eels. Then they attack him and bite him, and yeah, he gets electrical powers. Makes sense. It's all pretty standard. And when he goes to fight Spider Man, he's all blue now. And he doesn't know how to control his powers. And the cops get involved. People start cheering for Spider Man. He gets upset. And it was a weird choice to make Electro like that and Jamie Foxx act that way. But then just even the fights are weird because when Spider-Man goes to fight Electro, this music starts building up, and then you hear like these voices where it's like, he lied to you, he's dead to you, the spider. And to this day, I still don't know if that's voices he's just hearing in his head or if that's part of like the song they're playing in the background. Like, I still don't know. It's weird. Like, I still couldn't figure it out because I rewound it today. Rewound. I just went back. I don't think people say rewind anymore. And listened to it again, and I still am not sure if it's supposed to be a part of the song or voices in his head. Yeah, that was a weird choice to make him like that. The fight with him and Spider-Man, at least the first one, I mean, it wasn't terrible. Kind of stupid. And then the Green Goblin, it's Harry Osborn in this one. He takes over his father's company after he dies. And he's got a personal grudge against Spider-Man because he wants his blood to try to help cure a disease that he has that he's dying from. And basically, Spider-Man says no because I don't want you to turn into a monster. We don't know what's going to happen. And Harry Osborn gets all upset. And then they push him out of his company. And he starts working with Electro. After Spider-Man beats him, they like lock him away in an insane asylum where they just experiment on him. So he teams up with him, goes back to the company, and gets the venom injected into him from the spiders that gave Peter his power. And he starts turning into kind of a monster. And he crawls into a goblin suit and, with the glider and everything, and it heals him. And then I thought, how much can this suit heal you? Because maybe you should have just put on that suit while you were trying to experiment with spider venom and stuff to figure out a better way to cure yourself. I don't know what potential the suit has, but it healed you really quick. That's at least what the computer monitor said. So maybe pop that on and try that out next time. But that was another thing with the spider venom that gave Peter his powers. His father was one of the scientists that helped engineer the spiders, and he put his blood into the spider tests, and that's why the spider bites only work on his blood or his bloodline, which kind of bugs me because I always like the idea of the spider bite being random. Like, I don't like when Spider-Man stories make it where it was always destined to be or it was scientifically designed for Peter. I always like the idea of that spider could have bit anybody, but Peter Parker is just a really great person, and it's just anybody could be a hero if you do the right thing and have a good moral compass. I just feel like this kind of takes away from that. I don't know. Not a big deal. Didn't really affect the movie. There was a lot of other crap that did that. And then Paul Giamatti as the Rhino was just weird because he puts forth what could possibly be the best Russian accent in cinema history. And he shows up in the beginning trying to steal plutonium or uranium. I don't know, something radioactive. Spider-Man stops him, and then he shows up at the end in the Rhino suit, which I always think the Rhino should probably just stay in the comic books or cartoons because it's such a weird character to put on film, I would think. It's just like a massive man with strength and a rhino costume, just with a horn and everything. And I don't know. I think it's just kind of silly and would be hard to bring into live action. Back to the Green Goblin, like the fights with the Green Goblin, there was only one. And it was like a minute long at the end of the movie. And it was probably the best fight. And I think if they would have had more of that, the film would be a lot better. So it's just, yeah. And then the subplots, like I said, other than his parents, they had stuff too. Like the power goes out in the city, and then they're showing that an airplane is going to crash into another airplane because it's flying blind. And they keep coming back to that for some reason. And then Aunt May's a nurse, and it shows her working the power outage. I don't know. It was just, there was a lot of things in this that were unnecessary. And I know I complain a lot about runtime, but you could have cut out like 20 minutes of this movie. I don't know. I probably wouldn't dislike it as much. I don't hate the film. It's whatever. I don't enjoy watching it. Like it's kind of cringe, but silver linings in this stuff is I like, Andrew Garfield playing Peter Parker and Spider-Man. I think they do a really good job of getting like kind of the silliness of Spider-Man and the joking. Also, they show Peter trying to balance everything in his life and, him just dealing with regular stuff. And then him being late for like his graduation because he's trying to stop the Rhino from stealing uranium. And again, this isn't the Rhino right now. This is just Paul Giamatti with a superb Russian accent. And yeah, he's on the phone with Gwen, and then she's kind of upset that he's fighting crime instead of being at the graduation. And I just kind of like how they show that. Like, I kind of like the basic Spider Man. That's why I like the original ones with Tobey Maguire. Not, and it's not nostalgia. People think you like that because of nostalgia. I like how it's just kind of basic Peter Parker. That's why I didn't like the Tom Holland ones because him being like Tony Stark Jr., and being like, golly gee whiz, Mr. Stark. Like, I just didn't like that. I like the baseline street level Spider Man. And yeah, it just shows him kind of struggling with things and trying to keep his identity under wrapped and saving everybody. And I think, like, yeah, they got that. Also, the chemistry with him and Gwen, Emma Stone, like, she does a really good job. Those are the silver linings. And Sally Field knocks it out of the park as Aunt May. And just like the scenes with Spider-Man himself, like his fighting style and swinging style and stuff, the costume, it all looks really good. Like, that's what I mean. There is a lot of stuff there where it's like, it's unfortunate you chose to make a crappy film. Because yeah, and the acting, like I said, I don't know. I don't want to. It's been out for 12 years. I'm sure there's no spoilers. If people have seen No Way Home, they kind of know what happens. But at the very end, like, it looks really good for the last few minutes when he fights the Green Goblin and he's trying to save Gwen Stacy. And the scene where she falls, like, I was watching it today and it just looks so good. Like, and it's dramatic. And when he tries to save her and he catches her with that web, but her head smacks on the ground, like the way it looked and the noise and everything. And then when he like when Andrew Garfield like holds her and screams out and does all that, it looks great. It's dramatic, and it's like, man, I wish that was in a better movie because I thought that was great that they went for it and killed her. Because going into that movie, like again, as a comic book fan, I know what's gonna happen, and I was just like hoping that they went through with it. Not because I didn't like Emma Stone's Gwen Stacy or anything like that. It was just like show that being Spider-Man, like he doesn't always win. And I like that in the movies when they show that because that's why I always liked him in the comics. He doesn't always win, and usually when he loses, it's horrifically. But yeah, that part was great. And I remember when I saw it in theaters, I saw it with a couple, and I was like looking over when it happened, and I could tell she just like looked like it got her off guard because you just don't expect that to happen in the movie. That, yeah, he didn't save her, her head just like cracked on the ground. That's it. But yeah, like that's what I mean. It had so much potential, and it doesn't really matter. It was a very average movie. Maybe I hold it up a little higher because it's Spider-Man. I don't know. I give it like a 6 out of 10, maybe. But again, like I could see people saying that they hate it. I don't really like watching. Like I think it's a little cringe. And some of the lines with Peter and Gwen are a little cringy too. But overall, that relationship, those two actors did a great job. The end with the death scene, man, it should have been in a better movie. That's really unfortunate. And people are like, I remember people were saying because at the time Sony was trying to set up the Sinister Six, some of Spider-Man's best villains team up to take him down. And I still think it would have been screwed even without them trying to make other films. I just think there's too much going on. One of the main things that was disappointing too was they mentioned Alistair Smythe in the movie, which was BJ Novak in this. I don't know how he would have done as the villain, but it was the guy who made like the Spider Slayers in the comic books and the cartoons. And I thought, oh, that would have been like a cool little villain to see for the third movie. But even if this second one did do well, from what I heard about what the Amazing Spider-Man 3 was supposed to be, that sounds like it was fucked from Jump Street as well. It was something about Peter makes a formula that brings people back to life, and he brings Gwen back to life and her father. And I don't know, that just sounds nuts. I don't know if they like leaked that out on purpose and it was a bunch of like made up stuff. But yeah, that sounds insane. And I don't know. Like I thought the cloning thing was bad in the comic books. Peter bringing people back to life sounds even worse. Oh, also there's this weird another weird choice was in the final fight scene with Electro. They're like fighting in Oscorp's grid. I guess it controls power for the whole city. And while he's fighting him, like Itsy Bitsy Spider is playing through the grid on electrical stuff. It's just weird. Like it's just those weird choices where I don't get what they're doing. Well, I don't need to go into Amazing Spider-Man 2 too much. I'm not going to give you the whole synopsis for it. I think that tells you enough. If you want to check it out, go ahead. Just yeah, I'm just going to keep bitching about the runtime and wasted potential. Glad Andrew Garfield came back as Spider-Man though. I'm from the camp of he was at first, a lot of people gave his performance shit, but I think it was because of the movies. Like people said they didn't like his Spider-Man. I think he might be the best one. And on to the Amazing Spider-Man 2 for the PlayStation 4. I originally bought this in 2015 from Best Buy for 20 bucks. And the best part of this game now for me is the game's worth about 50 to 60. And that's just called business. That's wheeling and dealing, always coming up ahead. It's finances. I know this isn't a financial podcast, but that's my tip for you. Buy crappy PlayStation 4 games low, sell high. Anyway, I started reading the reviews recently about it, and a lot of people said this game sucks. And I remember it being fun. So I was just thinking, am I so out of touch? Or is it the reviewers that are wrong? Yes, the reviews are wrong. No, they actually weren't. This game does kind of suck. I was actually pretty disappointed because I was thinking that I was going to have fun doing this one. I just needed like a refresher on it. Yeah, no, the web swinging's all right. The camera sucks. I struggled so much with the camera. I don't know if it was just me, but I had difficulty trying to turn like the camera while I was swinging or fighting. The fighting mechanics just get old and repetitive, and the side quests that they have where you collect comic book pages. I mean, it's kind of cool because you can read full comics when you collect enough pages, and I thought that was kind of neat. But then they have these side picture ones, and I forgot how many pictures you got to take. And when you finish, you get a costume. You can unlock different costumes, and some of them were pretty neat. There were some pretty off-brand ones from the comic books, like Ricochet. It was a costume that Peter put on for a while everybody was hunting Spider-Man. And there was the Hornet. I think that was one that was also from that time. So it's kind of neat unlocking the costumes that you never see, but the way you collected them was really old and repetitive. And to start the game, you get to see Uncle Ben die again. So that's always a hoot.
Uncle Ben! Uncle Ben! Call an ambulance! Somebody help! Uncle Ben! Uncle Ben, hang on! Uncle Ben, come on!
I don't know why they had to put that in there. And then this really didn't even feel like it was a game for the movie, because the character doesn't look like Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. It's not the same voice actor clearly, and it doesn't even sound close. A lot of villains show up in this, so that's kind of fun. But the main bad guy ended up being Carnage. There's this killer going around, and he keeps leaving CK around, and I guess it's the Carnage Killer, and they talk about Cletus Cassidy, and they almost act like you're not supposed to know that it's Carnage, which is just weird because it seems pretty lame. Like, it's not a reveal. Like, I knew who it was immediately. I'm sure a lot of people who aren't even hardcore Spider-Man fans would know who it was. But there's also a gang war going on because they think somebody from a rival gang is sending this killer out. And yeah, that's basically the game. And you have Black Cat in it. Carnage shows up. The Shocker's in there. Kingpin. Craven the Hunter. He like mentors you for a little bit. And then you find out he's just trying to hunt you. And then, yeah, you end up fighting the Black Cat, fight Craven, fight the Kingpin. And then you get to Electro to fight him. And it's actually really easy. And another thing I hate about these games from the early to mid 2000s, or well, late 2000s, early 2010s. Yeah, I'd say that is the quick time events. Where it's like shows up on screen and it's like press square, and then it shows up press circle, and you do that to end a fight scene. And that happened a few times, and it's fucking annoying. Just let me fight and figure it out. So those happen. Electro and Green Goblin are easy to kill. And then the main villain is Carnage. And you fight him and beat him. And that's the game, unless you want to go around and do the collectibles. It is pretty short. One of the shorter Spider-Man games. And also there's no Gwen Stacy. So there's no Gwen death or anything like that. It didn't even feel like this was supposed to tie. It seemed like they were making a Spider-Man game and then they just tied it into this movie. It felt rushed. It didn't look good. I don't think it played well. Maybe the swinging around was okay, but that was about it. They had a menace hero mechanic, which got really fucking annoying. So if you ignored crimes, they start seeing you as a menace. And if you stop crimes, they see you as a hero. And every time you do a crime, they basically put up like a news headline showing that you're not a piece of shit. And then your meter goes up on the hero rating. But the thing I didn't like about it was that it would go from hero to menace so quick. If I was just trying to swing through town to do something else, I'd become a menace by the end of it. And they have these like military guys, I guess, with advanced equipment that are trying to keep the city safe, and they start going after you. And the more of a menace you become, the more stuff gets set up. Like they have shields around and turrets and stuff like that to stop you. So you have to fight them more often if you become a menace. And the side missions are just rinse and repeat. Like, you go into a burning building and save people the same way, like, every time. You stop a carjacking the same way every time. Like, you get on the car and have to press, like, square, 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 triangle. And a part that, like, is annoying is that Spider-Man's having a hard time ripping out a windshield or a door or getting the kidnapped victim out. But this happened in the movie too, that I forgot to mention, and it bothered the hell out of me, and I haven't heard it brought up enough. When he's trying to stop the Rhino's vehicle in the movie, he punches his windshield twice and doesn't break it, and then has to flip off the vehicle and stop a bus from hitting people. But he stops the bus with his body. And it's just like, wait, hold on. So he can stop the bus, but he can't knock out a windshield by punching it. That's just the kind of stuff that happened like in the game too, which is very confusing. Like, you can pick up a car, but you can't rip off the door. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It's not like if they would have changed that, it would have saved the game. But there's really, once you beat it, no replayability for this game. And I should have already known that, since it's been sitting in my game collection for 11 years and I never touched it after I beat it. I mean, yeah, you just swing around, you do the same carjackings, burning buildings, fighting the same group over and over. Yeah, there's just not that much to it. Maybe if it was still a $20 game, I would tell somebody, if they're a Spider-Man fan, to check it out. But yeah, for the $50 or $60 they want now, I wouldn't buy it. It's definitely not worth it. But I guess you can't download it anywhere legally because Activision lost their license to the Spider-Man games, or I guess every Marvel game if they did other ones. So really the only way to play it, I guess, is illegally or buying it. So, like I said, wheeling and dealing, I got something worth some value now. But I don't think I'll ever be playing it again. I probably won't sell it since I'm a Spider-Man fan. I'll just keep it. Maybe I'll display. I'm not going to display it. I don't care enough. I got other cool stuff from Spider-Man to display. Well, I think that's about it. Costumes were cool in the game, and that was about it. The game itself, I I don't know, 5 out of 10, I guess. 5.5. Not terrible, not great. Probably won't play it again. Well, I guess all that's left is, did they game it? And I'm going to say no. Other than it being a Spider-Man game, this really doesn't resemble the movie at all. It seems like it was a game that was being made before the movie. It mostly focuses on Carnage. Kraven the Hunter got more time in the game than Electro or the Green Goblin. And Max Dillon, that's Electro's, well, like, that's Electro's name as a human before he's changed. He's in the very beginning, you save him, and then you don't see anything until he comes back and fights you. And then the Green Goblin fights you, and they're just shoehorned in there for not even close to the majority of the game, and Carnage is the main villain. So, no, they didn't game it. And I guess that's basically it, except to tell the people who listen that there's a YouTube and an Instagram. And I hope the 2 people listening, they each tell a person, because at that point, we'll have 4 people listening. Tune in next week when I play Caligula on the Atari Jaguar. Until then.
I want you to do it for Uncle Ben and for me.
Yeah. Yes, Dan. I will.